YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Trey back again, hit you with a video. This video right here is about why so many churches dead. Not only the black church, but a lot of churches. See, it has nothing to do with race, really. All it has to do is a bunch of lost souls basically just carrying on the day-to-day life in their own little way, whether they think they helping someone or not. But when was the last time you went to a church and actually seen someone, you know, get help or get saved or really live that life like that? That stuff like I think about a lot of times because why do people want to play with the word so much? And then at the same time, when things happen in their lives, they wonder why things happen to them because most of these preachers and a lot of false prophets also are using the word of God, the word of the Most High, for their own benefit, their own gain. Whereas sometimes, like, if you can remember that you will go to church and you feel worse than when you left and when you came in. You ever had that feeling happen to you? Like, like what happened? Like it's a whole nother spirit get on you. Now, I'm not talking about all the churches. I'm talking about 90% of the churches. You have that 10% that really sticks to the old word and sticks to that how can I say, that fire and brimstone message. You feel what I'm saying? Not trying to scare anyone, not trying to turn anyone to this certain religion, because you have a right to believe or not to believe. You have a right to go or not to go. But like I tell people all the time, see, it's a difference between being in a church and going to church. You know, and I also told a young lady the other day about church, and we was basically having a little dialogue on Twitter, and she was asking me a few things. But like I told her, you know, I rarely, if ever, go to church. Because church to me is within. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. It's totally different. Religion it has way too many boundaries. You see what I'm saying? And it's like you'll be constantly running around that wheel like a hamster with your head cut off, if you know what I mean. You'll be constantly chasing your tail because you're gonna have to keep going in a circle. Whereas if you spiritual, it's more like a overstanding, not understanding, because you don't want to understand anything. You don't want to be under anything. You want to be over it. So try to overstand. But like I was telling the young lady, you don't have to go to church to be saved or whatever you want to say, sanctified or whatever. The book clearly states, and I'm not trying to preach, I'm not trying to sound religious, just trying to make a point. Where two or more gather in my name, I will be joined. I could have sworn that the word says that. If I'm mistaken, let me know. Now it might not be verbatim word for word, but that's pretty much what it means. Which meaning that you going into these temples, those temples are just empty vessels, if you will. Those churches just a building. That building is no different than your house. See, the true temple is within you. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I try to tell people that. And then when you tell them that, they look at you like you crazy because they still on this old caveman level thinking of, well, because of tradition, what tradition done taught us and what we done seen Big Mama do, what we done seen Pawpaw do, get us up early in the morning when we was kids. It all starts when you were a child, you know, running back and forth to the church, seeing it on TV, hearing it when you wake up in the morning. So you get into this routine, if you will, this tradition, and you pretty much find yourself doing things out of repetition instead of out of the want and out of the need. Because I can't see how people run their butts to the church every Sunday but be in the club Friday and Saturday night. I don't understand. And how can you be in the club Friday and Saturday night? It don't have to even be the club. It can be a lot of places. You see what I'm saying? Because we can go down the list and name a lot of things, but we don't have to do that. But I don't understand how certain people can, defile themselves week after week and still want to go up in the house of worship. Because all these houses ain't of worship anyway, but still go in the so-called quote-unquote house of the Lord and give praise and shout, and don't be the one shouting the loudest. I don't know why they do that, and I'm like, what's the use of playing that game for? If you're gonna be one way, be that way. And for me, in my personal experience, my journey, most of the hypocrites I found was in the church house. At least the people on the street know who they are, most of them. At least they gonna go ahead and go all the way with it. They ain't gonna front with it like you have some of these preachers sleeping around with the missionaries, with the first lady, best friend, with the usher board. Some people on the usher board, all that. The pastor now screwing everybody. That's why these pastors getting exposed and a lot of them getting killed too. Just like that pastor that happened down at I think that was Lake Charles, where the preacher got the deacon daughter pregnant and also was sleeping with the man wife also. So the wife wasn't no good and the daughter wasn't no good. You see what I'm saying? But both of them just full of you know what. But at the same time, the man walked right in the church doing the service. Doing the service. Now picture this. Doing the service while the man was up there speaking, telling them lies with that forked tongue. And shot that man straight in the head, killed him right there in the church in front of everybody. And waited for the cops. You see what I'm saying? And that was the preacher. The deacon killed him. Because he was, got his daughter pregnant and was screwing his wife. I guess he feel like he lost everything. So what's the psychology of these churches? What is the psychology of telling these people that you can live any kind of way and you still gonna be okay? See, that's the problem now. That's why you see a bunch of confusion in these churches. That's why when you go into most of these buildings, a lot of backbiting going on, a lot of people talking about each other, worried about what Sister Betty did last week, worried about Sister Margaret husband who's still in jail, worried about little Tyrone who's out there selling dope, and the rest of them trying to find them some pills to pop when they get out of church so they can ease their mind. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody either on alcohol or on dope or just full of mess. You feel what I'm saying? And drama. And you have to sit back and wonder, like, why would I want to contribute and go to a place like that where a bunch of double-minded people that are there? And if you have a double mind, you're not a stable person. You're unstable in all of your doings. So how can I trust you and how can you tell me anything and lead me when you constantly backsliding, backbiting, and being a hypocrite? And nothing is worse than a person that's a hypocrite. If you're going to be something, be something. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. No one is putting a gun to your head telling you to do anything because it's your life. You know, if you want to go through this life and not make it meaningful and not make it count and make it really what it's supposed to be to help people and to grow and teach each other, you go right ahead and trick the people. Your reward will be waiting on you on the other side when it's your time, when it's time for judgment, because we are going to get judged one way or the other. But isn't it sad that these preachers preach about prosperity and about their friends and all this other stuff more than they do the word of God and also trying to help people? You feel me? They'll tell you that if you give to them and you tithe to them, you'll be blessed. The whole tithing thing is wrong, first of all, but we ain't gonna get into the old law and everything, so we'll leave that alone. But at the same time, when you go to these churches, you have these females dressing so provocative, you would think they walking into a strip club. You would think that you're going into a nightclub and that it's whoever wear the tightest miniskirt or dress get in. And it's so sad that won't nobody even say nothing. Even the old ladies. See, when I remember when I was going to church, if we acted up, you had the old ladies of the house. I mean, the old ladies of the church, what we call the mothers of the church. They will come get you right, and they will whoop your butt, and didn't worry about your parents. You see what I'm saying? But they don't do that no more, because don't nobody want nobody discipline their child. That's why these kids grow up whooping the parents' ass. You feel what I'm saying? That's why these children grow up being just like the people that they see in these pulpits and in on these pews, faking it and shucking and jiving and buck dancing and everything. It won't tell the people the real. And that's why the people steady run back to these institutions. That's what these churches are. That's why they run back to these institutions, because they need that refill, like that song, I Need a Refill. They need a refill because they don't even have enough to sustain them a month or two. That's why they're so downtrodden, calling the preacher every day, talking about the husband ain't coming home, or the man calling the preacher his wife cheating on him, because don't nobody want nobody weak. And you know for yourself if you're faking it, and you know for yourself if you have a spouse that goes, if they're faking it. So why fake it? You see what I'm saying? You can have church right there in your living room when you wake up in the morning. It don't have to be on Sunday. You see what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it don't supposed to be on Sunday, but that's a different story also too. If you study, you will see that everything has been changed in the world. You know, the Sabbath day, all that. You feel me? It's a lot of stuff that's been that's being hid from the people and the preachers, these so-called preachers that belong to these secret groups and these fraternities and everything. They made an oath and a pledge not to tell the people the truth. And it really amazes me that people would not dig deep for the truth. Like when you wake up in the morning, what do you think about? Do you think about, let me go see what Wendy Williams talking about? Let me go see what Steve Harvey talking about, or let me see what's on TV? Or do you wake up searching for truth, or do you wake up with a purpose? See, a lot of people do not wake up with a purpose because I honestly, I'm starting to see even more. A lot of people don't have purpose. You have people that's here to lead and guide and be a beacon of light, and you have people here that's just going to follow that light, that beacon of light. Just like how, for instance, Tupac never claimed to be a Christian, but isn't it amazing that Tupac, quote unquote, thug life, was talking more about togetherness than preachers was. He was talking more about the government, exposing the government and how they doing people worldwide. You know, the money for wars became feed the poor. When the last time you hear your preachers even talk like that? But these supposed to be the low people in life. You see what I'm saying? But that really amazes me, the fact that if you look throughout the Bible, none of the people that God chose to use were angels. You feel what I'm saying? Now he had the ones in heaven. I ain't talking about them. I ain't talking about the cherubs. I ain't talking about the Michael, the Gabriel. I'm not talking about them. That's on another level. I'm talking about the people that's down here walking around without the wings and all that. Isn't it funny that he chose to take the murderers, the killers, the backbiters? You see what I'm saying? The adulterers, and turn them into men of God, men of valor, men that's taught the people, and their message is still ringing clear till today. Just like a lot of you out here on your radio, you pick up that book, them words from years and years and years ago. But isn't it funny that he chose to use that man instead of the 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 Creflos? You feel what I'm saying? And you might say, well, Creflo is a preacher, but that don't mean he's called, though. You know, I'm not saying that he's called and he's not called. All I'm saying, judge a fruit by, you know what I'm saying? Just look at the fruit and look at what it bears. Look at that tree. What kind of fruit does it bear? You know, and if that tree bears bad fruit, that's selfish, that's greedy, that's lying, that want $65 million jets. And what you need a $65 million jet for? Are you gonna fly the homeless people with you? Or are you gonna take your members wherever they want to go? And another thing, why do these churches have all these big old buildings, but you have homeless people sleeping right outside of the church? You mean to tell me this is supposed to be a house of worship, get me right before I die and everything, and you won't even let a homeless person go in there and lay down and sleep? Now, do that make any sense to you, that you would have these big old mega churches look like malls, and you won't even let one homeless person even sleep on the concrete in there, you know? So ask yourself that. You feel what I'm saying? It's all business. The church is a corporation too. You feel what I'm saying? Up on itself. It's to the state, the 501c3. Look that up right there, and you will really see uh, more of what's really going on. And the reason why they do that, because they don't want these pastors really telling the people the truth for us what's going on with your state government, especially that, and anything dealing with the government, who to vote for, none of that. That's why you hear this same watered down speech every other week. You feel what I'm saying? And you think you really getting some fire, but you ain't. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing it but shoving them same hot coals over you. They ain't throwing no new logs in there that's ready to burn for a long time. No, they just get the little ashes. You know, the ashes that be from the bottom of the wood when it burns. Just shovel that right up on you. And you thinking that you got some fire in your soul and your bosom, but you ain't got nothing but some paper that's on fire. And that's why when you walk out the door, it fizzles and flames away. And you forget about what even the man was talking about. Because what he said mustn't mean nothing, it mustn't stick. Because we all done heard things in our lives that are stuck with us. That's the point I'm making. So if somebody telling you something and don't nothing stick, they ain't doing a good job, or they just talking out their butt, as they say. And just like another thing, when these preachers take up these building funds, how can you take up a building fund for 30, 40 years and you don't even put a new doorknob on a door? You don't. The ceiling's still leaking. You feel what I'm saying? We still got the same baptismal pool that look like a bathtub. It's not even a decent size for people to get in there. You see what I'm saying? The carpet's still tore up. The pews don't even have cushion on them. And ain't nothing worse than sitting in the damn church for an hour or two on them hard pews. Your butt bones start hurting, especially you all who ain't got no butts. I know you be hurting back there. You ain't got no cushion. But anyway, what you have to ask yourself, what am I gaining out this experience? See, if you ain't gaining nothing, what you doing it for? You feel me? Look for that. Stop trying to treat these preachers and these people who claim they're people of God like they're angels and like they're the chosen ones when they ain't even telling you right, and they made a vow not to tell you right. And why also in the black community, especially the black community, now I'm talking about all churches, but I'm talking about the black community right now. Why is there a church almost on every corner like a liquor store, but the black community suffers the most? The black community has no, most of them don't have no jobs, their own grocery stores, their own community, because it's not a community. Do you know what a community means? You have your own fire station, you have your own grocery store, you have your own school, you have your own park, you have your own recreational everything. That's a community. Community ain't a hood. A hood, a ghetto is different than a community. You feel what I'm saying? Think about that. So where's the God? You feel what I'm saying? You gotta always ask yourself that when you walk outside your house, unless you're living in one of these suburbs or whatever else, hey, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying that the people that ain't got no churches in the big houses, they're righteous. No, they're far from it. What I'm trying to tell you this right here is that basically you've been sold a bill of bad goods, and the people that's behind this trick knows it and would not tell the people. You see what I'm saying? And then someone come along like me, little old me, come and tell you the truth, pull your coattail like the old folks say, look, you see this way you going right here? That's trickery, man. You believe in this foolishness, and it's nothing valid about it. You see what I'm saying? They want you to worship outwardly. The worship is inwardly. You see what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people that's very spiritual and got their mind right, they think inwardly. They don't think outwardly. You see what I'm saying? Because if you think outwardly, the way this world is, man, it'll kill your spirit. But if you go within, you can meditate and you can think, and you have a clear understanding. You see what I'm saying? It's magical how it happens. And people be asking me that all the time, like, man, how did you think of that? How did you sit down and just say that like that? I just do it. I don't practice. I don't do none of that. I sit down, take a deep breath, and it flows. You feel what I'm saying? And it don't goes nowhere because it's real. It's true. And when it's real and true, it shows on you. You can do it in your sleep. You can do it when you wake up. You feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, be careful who you listen to. Even me, question everything. Don't take nobody word for. Don't take nobody word to heart. Question everything somebody tells you, because you do not want people leading you astray, and that is what's happening a lot in these days and times. And it's true. These are the last days, because all this old stuff is finna be passed away. You feel me? I'm not gonna say that though. It's gonna start raining fire and brimstone, comets. I'm not talking about none of that, because we live under a firmament. If you know what that means. If you don't, go to Genesis and look it up. But just stay vigilant. Vigilant, and at the same time, determined to keep going on. And every day, try to learn something new. No matter if it's a different way to tie your shoe. Every day, you should accomplish something new. Every day, you should do something. Nothing worse than a lazy person who sit back and watch the world pass them by. You just like a fly on the wall. You're not hurting no one, but you're no good to no one, not even yourself. So think about that today. And if you go to these places in these churches, sit back and study your preacher. Study who you listen to. Study who you giving your money to. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that the preacher don't supposed to be blessed, but if the preacher's the only one with a nice car and a nice house, and he convinced y'all that that's his money, but y'all giving him that money every Sunday and throughout the week, especially for the church who still got revivals, which you don't hardly see revivals no more. Ask yourself, now why would he tell us that? Just like that's what pimps do. Put them women out there on the streets, and guess what? You better go get my money trick. And then they come back and bring him their money they've been out there working for. Then he convinced them that that's his money. He'll give them whatever he wants them to have. Ain't that something? And I can go on all day about that. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section about that. This has been your boy Trey. Hey, stay woke. That's all I can say. Just like that song. Stay woke. I'm out.